I found the spreadsheet hidden in her Google Drive. Not cheating, not a secret second life. It was a line-by-line audit of her boyfriend's financial contributions over the last 2 years. Everyone praises Gen Z for being the financially literate, boundary-setting generation that protects their peace. But what nobody tells you is that their obsession with optimizing their assets has turned into a massive, hidden relationship crisis. Right now, a huge percentage of people under 30 are committing emotional abandonment, running quarterly performance reviews on their partners, and exiting the moment someone loses a job, all while pretending they're just knowing their worth. They call it financial empowerment. The math calls it a guaranteed lifetime of loneliness. Let me show you the trap. Tyler finds out on a Saturday morning, not from Sophia, from her TikTok. She posted it 3 days ago. Financial independence era. Cut off anyone draining your bag. 47,000 likes. 1,200 comments. Slay. You ate. Main character behavior. Tyler is her boyfriend of 2 years. He lost his job 6 weeks ago. He's been applying everywhere. He told Sophia. She said she understood. What she didn't tell him, she'd been listening to a finance creator who said anyone not on your level financially is an anchor. She'd been tracking his financial contribution to the relationship in a spreadsheet. She'd been planning his exit for 3 weeks while telling him she supported him. Tyler finds out because the TikTok comments section told him. A mutual friend sent him the link at 9:47 a.m. with 3 question marks. He reads the comments. Then he goes back through Sophia's last 3 months of content. The journey is all there. Know your worth. Don't split bills with someone who can't match your energy. Your partner's debt is your debt. Protect your bag. 2 years. Gone. Not because of a fight, not because of betrayal in the traditional sense, because Sophia learned a financial philosophy from a stranger on the internet and applied it to their relationship like a business contract. And Tyler is sitting there thinking, when did loving someone become a financial transaction that gets terminated when the numbers don't work? I'm Peter, and if you think the new Gen Z approach to money and relationships is empowering, you need to hear what it's actually doing to an entire generation's ability to build lasting partnerships, because there's a collection of financially smart habits spreading through people under 30 that feel like self-respect and function like relationship poison. Tyler texts Sophia, saw your TikTok, 3 dots. Then, I was going to talk to you. About cutting me off because I lost my job? About our financial compatibility. It's not personal. It's about alignment. We've been together 2 years. This is personal. Tyler, I've been doing a lot of work on my financial mindset. I can't be in a relationship where I'm carrying more weight. It's not healthy for my growth. I've been unemployed for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I have interviews. I have prospects. I know, but I've realized I need a partner who's already where I want to be, not someone who might get there. And Tyler reads that sentence 3 times. A partner who's already where I want to be, not someone who might get there. He's 26. She's 25. They've been building together. That was the plan. Build together. Grow together. Figure it out together. But somewhere between the finance TikToks and the abundance mindset podcasts and the protect your peace Instagram infographics, Sophia stopped thinking about building together and started running quarterly performance reviews on her relationship. He didn't pass Q4. Sophia isn't an outlier. She's a template. There's an entire financial self-improvement ecosystem targeted at Gen Z that is systematically teaching young people to apply corporate financial logic to intimate relationships. And it's creating a generation that is simultaneously more financially literate and more emotionally unavailable than any before it. Here are the habits spreading fastest, and here's what they're actually doing. Habit 1. Track your partner's financial contributions in a spreadsheet. It sounds responsible, equitable, fair. No one takes advantage of anyone. Every dollar gets documented. What it actually does, it turns your partner into a line item. Every meal you pay for gets mentally invoiced. Every imbalance triggers a performance review. You stop doing things out of generosity and start doing them as transactions awaiting reciprocation. Love becomes an accounts receivable situation, and intimacy dies in spreadsheets. Habit 2. Never date anyone below your financial level. The finance creators call it protecting your energy. Your partner's financial problems become your problems. Their debt affects your credit. Their bad habits affect your trajectory. What it actually does, it guarantees you'll never be there for someone during the hardest moments of their life. Layoffs happen. Medical crises happen. Career pivots happen. If financial status is your entry requirement, you'll leave or never commit at exactly the moment someone needs you most. Tyler's 6 weeks of unemployment is a life event, not a character flaw. Sophia's metric can't tell the difference. Habit 3. Maintain complete financial independence. Always have your exit fund. Originally, this came from domestic abuse awareness. An exit fund protects people in genuinely dangerous situations. Critical, necessary, correct. What Gen Z finance culture did, weaponized it. Now the exit fund isn't about safety. It's about never being vulnerable, about keeping one foot permanently out the door, about ensuring you can leave anytime the relationship stops performing to expectations. What it actually does, it makes genuine commitment impossible, because commitment requires vulnerability. You cannot love someone fully while simultaneously optimizing your exit strategy. The fund, designed for emergencies, became a symbol of emotional unavailability. Habit 4. Separate everything. Your money, your accounts, your credit, your investments. Financial autonomy in relationships is healthy. Shared identity isn't required. This isn't wrong in principle, but Gen Z took it to an extreme. Couples splitting $7 Chipotle bills on Venmo. Roommate-level financial separation between people who claim to be building a life together. Every restaurant check becomes a negotiation. Every vacation requires a spreadsheet. Every shared experience gets immediately monetized and equalized. What it actually does, it optimizes for fairness and eliminates generosity. Relationships don't run on perfect equity. They run on generosity, sacrifice, and the understanding that sometimes one person carries more and sometimes the other does. When you Venmo split everything, you've created a financially fair arrangement and an emotionally barren one. Let's talk about what this actually costs, because Gen Z thinks they're optimizing. Let's see what they're actually losing. Sophia is 25. She makes $52,000. She has $8,400 in savings. She's building her financial independence. By the traditional finance creator metrics, she's winning. Tyler is 26. Before the layoff, he was making $61,000. He has $5,200 in savings. Currently unemployed for 6 weeks with active interviews. Sophia calculates. He's below her financially right now. Exit. Here's what her spreadsheet doesn't calculate. Tyler's projected income at 35, based on his field and trajectory, $98,000. The wealth-building advantage of a committed partnership between 25 and 35, studies consistently show married or long-term partnered individuals accumulate 77% more wealth by middle age than singles. Two people sharing housing costs, splitting major expenses, making complementary financial decisions, supporting each other through career pivots. By optimizing Sophia's exit at 25, the spreadsheet saved her from 6 weeks of emotional discomfort and cost her roughly $340,000 in projected wealth accumulation by age 40, if they'd built together. But the math goes deeper. Sophia is now dating at her level. She finds someone with $22,000 in savings and a $68,000 salary, financially compatible, perfectly matched metrics. Neither of them has been in a relationship long enough to need to sacrifice for each other. Neither of them has learned how to stay when staying is hard. Neither of them has any practice with the financial and emotional navigation that long-term partnership requires. They break up at 14 months because the energy shifted. Back to the apps, back to finding someone who matches the current spreadsheet, back to optimizing. By 32, Sophia has had 6 relationships, averaging 16 months each. She's financially independent, She has $67,000 in savings. She's also spent 7 years of her prime relationship-building years applying corporate HR logic to intimacy and wondering why nothing sticks. Meanwhile, Tyler, after a difficult 18 months post-Sophia, found someone who stayed through his next career transition. By 32, they own a condo together. Combined household wealth, $340,000. Two people who build things instead of auditing things. Sophia's financial habits made her independently secure and relationally unavailable. Tyler's financial weakness taught him what he actually needed in a partner. The finance creators never mention that math. Here's where the comments are going to explode, and I want to be honest about both sides. Some people will say, Sophia was right to leave. She knew her worth. You shouldn't have to support someone financially. That's how people get taken advantage of. And to a point, that's true. There are genuinely exploitative relationships. There are people who use partners financially. There are situations where one person's dysfunction creates real damage to the other. Financial self-awareness isn't wrong. But here's the question nobody's asking in the comments sections of these finance TikToks. What is a relationship actually for? If the answer is mutual financial optimization and protection of individual assets, then Sophia's approach is perfect. Exit Tyler. Find someone with better metrics. If the answer is building a shared life with someone you choose to commit to through difficulty because the relationship itself has value beyond its financial outputs, then Sophia's approach is catastrophic. It evaluates relationships by the wrong metrics and exits them at exactly the moments they're asking for depth. Gen Z finance culture gave young people financial literacy and accidentally stripped them of relational commitment, because the same mental models that make you good at protecting your assets make you terrible at loving someone through their worst months. The question isn't whether to be financially smart. The question is whether you can be financially smart and relationally committed, or whether the two frameworks are so incompatible that optimizing one automatically destroys the other. Tyler gets hired 8 weeks after the Sophia TikTok. $74,000 salary. Better than before. He doesn't contact her. There's nothing to say. You can't argue someone out of a worldview. You can't convince someone that you're worth staying for using logic. If they're running a spreadsheet, you don't win by improving your metrics. You win by finding someone who isn't running a spreadsheet. Sophia posts about it 6 months later. Manifestation works. Dating someone who matches my financial goals. 300,000 likes. She doesn't post about month 7, when she realizes she and her new partner never argue because they never disagree about anything, because they never sacrifice anything for each other, because there's nothing deep enough between them to argue about. She doesn't post about thinking about Tyler, not because she regrets the decision by her framework's logic, but because she wonders if her framework is measuring the right things. Here's the verdict. The Gen Z money habits aren't wrong in isolation. Financial literacy is valuable. Knowing your expenses matters. Having savings matters. Not destroying yourself financially for a relationship matters. But applied to intimacy as a primary filter, these habits create a generation that is optimizing its way out of the experiences that make a human life meaningful. You cannot spreadsheet your way into love. You cannot performance review your way into depth. You cannot exit fund your way into commitment. And the financial creators telling you that you can are selling you a framework that protects your bank account and impoverishes everything else. Here's what the money habit content never addresses. Wealth built alone is just money. Wealth built with someone you love is a life. And the habits that maximize individual asset protection minimize the conditions under which people actually fall and stay in love. Vulnerability, sacrifice, staying when staying is hard, being there when someone is at their worst, and choosing them anyway. None of that appears in a spreadsheet. All of it determines whether your life at 45 or 55 or 65 feels like something you built or something you optimized. Sophia will retire with money, maybe more money than Tyler. The spreadsheet will have worked, but money is not the output of a life. It's a resource within a life. And at the moment the finance creators have young people optimizing the resource while ignoring the life,
They're selling financial intelligence that produces human poverty. If you're under 30 and you've learned to evaluate your relationships the way you evaluate your investment portfolio, ask yourself one question. Would you have stayed with your current partner through 6 weeks of unemployment? Not 6 months, 6 weeks. If the answer is no, you're not financially empowered. You're emotionally unavailable with better vocabulary. And you can spend your 20s and 30s curating a perfectly optimized financial life, protecting your bag, matching your level, tracking your contributions, maintaining your exit, and you'll arrive at 40 with a healthy savings account in the quiet, spreadsheet invisible realization that nobody who ever really loved you was allowed to stay long enough to prove it. Tyler is doing fine. He found someone who stayed. The real question is whether you're building something worth staying for or just protecting something worth leaving.